more than 16 years after Michael Jackson's death. Millions of fans continue asking the same question. What really lies behind the doors of his final resting place? For years, rumors have spread across the internet. Some claimed the tomb had secretly been opened. Others insisted it was empty. A few even suggested Michael had never been buried there at all. The stories grew larger with every passing year. Videos collected millions of views. Headlines promised shocking discoveries. Conspiracy theories traveled across social media faster than facts ever could. But behind all the speculation, the truth is far different. Unlike most celebrities, Michael Jackson's burial site was never intended to become a tourist attraction. It was designed to remain private, protected, and permanently sealed away from the public. Today, thousands of visitors travel to Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. Many hope they will finally see the place where the king of pop rests. Instead, they discover something unexpected. The building itself is closed, its entrance is heavily secured, photography inside is prohibited, and ordinary visitors are never allowed to enter the section where Michael was laid to rest. That level of secrecy has only fueled more curiosity. Why so much security? Why keep the location hidden inside one of America's most famous cemeteries? And what actually happened on the day Michael Jackson was finally buried? The answers begin long before his funeral. They begin on one of the darkest days in music history, June 25th, 2009. News spread across the world with unbelievable speed. Michael Jackson, the king of pop, had died at the age of 50. Within minutes, television stations interrupted programming, radio broadcasts stopped, fans gathered outside hospitals. Others stood in silence, unable to believe the biggest entertainer on earth was gone. What followed became one of the largest public mourning events in modern history. Millions watched his memorial. World leaders sent tributes. Fellow artists honored his influence. But while the world focused on the public farewell, a much quieter story was unfolding behind closed doors, one involving extraordinary security, private family decisions, and a final resting place that would remain hidden from the public for years to come. Because even in death, Michael Jackson's life remained surrounded by mystery. And perhaps nowhere is that mystery greater than behind the locked bronze doors of the mausoleum where he now rests. When Michael Jackson passed away on June 25th, 2009, the world expected an immediate farewell, but that wasn't what happened. Days turned into weeks. Weeks stretched into months. While millions of fans mourned his loss, Michael's family faced an incredibly difficult decision. Where should the world's most famous entertainer be laid to rest? The answer wasn't simple. Every possible location raised concerns. Privacy had always been one of the greatest challenges of Michael's life. Even after his death, his family feared that any public gravesite could attract constant crowds, unwanted attention, or even vandalism. They wanted somewhere peaceful, somewhere secure, somewhere worthy of a man whose music had touched nearly every corner of the world before any burial took place. The world gathered for a very different kind of goodbye. On July 7th, 2009, thousands of invited guests filled the Staples Center in Los Angeles. Millions more watched from their homes across the globe. The memorial became one of the most watched live television events in history. Artists performed, friends shared memories, family members struggled through emotional tributes. One unforgettable moment came when Michael's daughter, Paris Jackson, stepped to the microphone, fighting back tears. She quietly told the world that her father had been the best dad anyone could ever imagine. Her brief words left the audience in silence. For millions watching, it was one of the most heartbreaking moments of the entire ceremony. Yet despite the emotional farewell, Michael Jackson had still not been buried. The public memorial was only one chapter. The final goodbye would happen much later, far away from television cameras, nearly 2 months after his death. On September 3rd, 2009, close family members gathered once again. This time, there were no live broadcasts, no cheering crowds, no worldwide audience, only relatives, trusted friends, and a small group of invited guests. The private funeral took place at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California, one of America's most exclusive cemeteries, a place where numerous Hollywood legends had already been laid to rest. As the ceremony concluded, Michael Jackson was placed inside the Great Mausoleum, a section of the cemetery completely closed to the general public. Behind thick walls, bronze doors, and carefully monitored security, his final resting place would remain hidden from public view. Unlike the graves of many famous entertainers, fans would never be able to walk directly to Michael's tomb. That decision was intentional. His family wanted the privacy he had searched for throughout much of his life. Even in death, Michael Jackson would remain protected from the crowds that had followed him for decades. But the extraordinary level of security surrounding his burial soon created new questions. Why was access so tightly controlled? What made the Great Mausoleum different from any other cemetery? And why has almost no one outside the Jackson family ever been allowed to see where the king of pop rests? Those questions would only deepen the mystery surrounding one of the world's most famous tombs. To understand why Michael Jackson's final resting place remains surrounded by mystery, you first have to understand the place chosen to protect it. Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California, is unlike a traditional cemetery. It has long been the resting place of some of Hollywood's biggest stars. Actors, musicians, directors, and entertainment legends have all been buried there. But one building stands apart from the rest: the Great Mausoleum. From the outside, it appears quiet and almost ordinary. Elegant stone walls, beautiful gardens, towering trees. Nothing immediately suggests that one of the most famous entertainers in history rests inside. Yet behind those walls, security is taken extremely seriously. Unlike many public memorials, the Great Mausoleum is not open for casual visitors. Only family members, authorized cemetery staff, and guests with special permission are allowed to enter certain areas. The section where Michael Jackson rests remains completely off limits to the public. Visitors who arrive hoping to see his tomb quickly discover that they can go no farther than the exterior grounds. The bronze doors remain closed. Inside, photography is strictly prohibited. Access is carefully controlled. These measures are not unusual for Forest Lawn. Many high-profile burials inside the mausoleum receive similar protection. But because the person resting there is Michael Jackson, the restrictions have fueled decades of speculation. Some people believe extraordinary secrets are hidden inside. Others claim the family is protecting priceless personal items. Internet rumors have even suggested that the tomb has secretly been opened over the years, yet no credible evidence has ever supported those claims. According to the cemetery and the Jackson family, Michael's resting place has remained undisturbed since his private burial in 2009. The purpose of the security has never been to hide a mystery. It has been to preserve dignity. The Jackson family understood that millions of fans would want to visit, but they also knew that unlimited public access could threaten the peace they wanted Michael to have. After spending a lifetime surrounded by cameras, crowds, and constant public attention, they believed he deserved privacy at last. Even today, visitors continue arriving from every corner of the world. Some leave flowers near the cemetery entrance, others quietly reflect from outside the mausoleum. Many simply hope to stand as close as possible to the place where the king of pop rests. Few celebrities continue attracting that level of devotion so many years after their passing. Michael Jackson remains one of them. But while the mausoleum itself has stayed closed, the mystery surrounding it has only continued to grow. Online videos, tabloid stories, and conspiracy theories have convinced millions that something extraordinary lies behind those locked doors. The truth is both simpler and far more meaningful, because the greatest mystery surrounding Michael Jackson's tomb isn't what is hidden inside. It's why so many people refuse to believe the facts that have been publicly known for years, and that mystery would soon become even larger, as rumors spread across the internet claiming the impossible. For years, the Great Mausoleum remained exactly as it had been on the day Michael Jackson was laid to rest: quiet, private, and closed to the public. But on the internet, a completely different story was unfolding. As social media expanded, videos began appearing with dramatic headlines. Michael Jackson's tomb has been opened. They finally discovered the truth. What investigators found shocked everyone. Millions of people clicked, shared, and debated the claims. Some videos used edited photographs. Others recycled old news footage. Many featured dramatic music and emotional narration designed to convince viewers that a major discovery had taken place. The problem: almost none of it was true. Over the years, no verified report has ever confirmed that Michael Jackson's tomb was publicly opened. No official investigation announced such an event. No member of the Jackson family has claimed it happened, and Forest Lawn Memorial Park has never reported anything of the sort. Yet the rumors refuse to disappear. Why? Because mystery attracts attention. Michael Jackson spent decades as one of the most famous people on Earth. Every part of his life fascinated the public. Even after his death, that fascination never faded. Whenever new photographs of the mausoleum surfaced, speculation quickly followed. If maintenance workers entered the building, some claimed it was evidence the tomb had been opened. If security increased, others insisted something important was being hidden. Ordinary events were transformed into extraordinary stories. The more dramatic the claim, the faster it spread online. There was another reason these rumors became so popular. Michael Jackson had been surrounded by conspiracy theories throughout much of his career. People questioned his appearance, his personal life, his business decisions, even after his passing. Some refused to believe he had died at all. Stories appeared claiming he had secretly escaped public life. Others insisted he had staged his death to begin a new life somewhere far from the spotlight. None of those claims were ever supported by credible evidence, yet they continued circulating for years. The mystery surrounding his private burial only made those theories stronger. When people cannot see something for themselves, imagination often fills the gaps. That is exactly what happened with Michael Jackson's tomb. Its privacy created curiosity. Curiosity created rumors, and those rumors eventually became internet legends repeated by millions of people around the world. Ironically, the real story required no conspiracy at all. The Jackson family had simply honored Michael's wish for privacy. The cemetery had simply protected one of its most famous residents. There was no hidden discovery, no secret investigation, no shocking revelation locked behind the bronze doors, only a family trying to give one of the world's most recognized entertainers the peace he rarely experienced during his lifetime. Yet one question continued to fascinate fans everywhere. If the tomb has never been opened, what is actually known about the place where Michael Jackson rests today? The answer reveals a story far more remarkable than any internet rumor ever could. After years of speculation, one question continues to surface more than any other. What do we actually know about Michael Jackson's final resting place? The verified facts are surprisingly straightforward. Michael Jackson was laid to rest on September 3rd, 2009, inside the Great Mausoleum at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. His burial followed a private ceremony attended by family members and a small circle of close friends. Unlike the public memorial held weeks earlier, this farewell took place away from television cameras and worldwide audiences. The family wanted one final moment of peace. The exact area where Michael rests is located within one of the mausoleum's most secure sections. Visitors are not permitted to enter. There are no public tours, no viewing windows, and no opportunities for fans to approach the crypt itself. That policy has remained unchanged since the day he was buried. Inside, Michael's resting place reflects the elegance often found throughout the Great Mausoleum. Marble hallways, decorative artwork, beautiful architecture, soft lighting, and a peaceful atmosphere designed for quiet reflection rather than public attention. While the cemetery has never encouraged detailed photography of the interior, those familiar with the mausoleum describe it as one of the most carefully maintained memorial buildings in the country. Over the years, flowers have continued arriving from around the world. Fans regularly send handwritten letters. Some leave photographs. Others place small personal tributes outside the cemetery grounds. Although those gifts rarely reach the crypt itself, they serve as reminders that Michael's influence remains as powerful today as it was during his lifetime. Another question often asked concerns the security surrounding the mausoleum. The answer is simple. It exists to protect both the privacy of the Jackson family and the dignity of everyone buried inside. Michael is not the only famous figure resting there. Forest Lawn has long maintained strict rules for all high-profile interments. Those measures help preserve the peaceful environment families expect when visiting loved ones. Despite countless rumors, no official record has ever shown that Michael's crypt has been disturbed. No verified reports describe investigators opening the tomb. No authenticated photographs have emerged showing anything different from the arrangements made in 2009. The facts have remained remarkably consistent for more than 16 years. Perhaps that consistency explains why myths continue appearing online. When little changes, people often invent stories to fill the silence, but sometimes the truth is powerful enough on its own. Michael Jackson's final resting place was never meant to become another attraction. It was meant to become something he rarely experienced during his extraordinary life. A place of quiet, a place of privacy, a place where the world's attention could finally come to an end. Yet even behind locked doors, his legacy has never stopped growing. Because while millions may never see the place where Michael Jackson rests, they continue seeing the legacy he left behind every single day through his music. Every year, thousands of Michael Jackson fans make the same journey. They travel from different countries, different cultures, and different generations, all with one destination in mind: Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. Some have followed Michael's career since the Jackson 5. Others discovered his music decades after his passing. Yet they all arrive for the same reason: to pay their respects to the man whose music changed their lives. But when they finally reach the cemetery, many are surprised by what they find. There is no public memorial outside the mausoleum, no viewing platform, no marked pathway leading to Michael's crypt, and no opportunity to stand beside his final resting place. Instead, visitors discover that the Great Mausoleum remains closed. Security and cemetery staff politely explain that public access is not permitted. For some fans, the news is disappointing. After traveling thousands of miles, they realize they will never actually see the place where Michael Jackson rests. Yet remarkably, most choose to stay anyway. They walk through the peaceful grounds. They leave flowers near permitted memorial areas. Some quietly play Michael's songs through headphones. Others simply sit in silence. For them, the visit isn't about entering the mausoleum, it's about feeling close to someone whose music became part of their lives. Over the years, fans have shared countless personal stories. Some credit Michael's music with helping them through illness, others say his songs carried them through loneliness, depression, or difficult moments they believed they could never overcome. Entire families visit together. Parents introduce their children to the artist they admired growing up. Young fans who never had the chance to see Michael perform live still travel across the world just to stand outside the place where he was laid to rest. Very few entertainers inspire that level of devotion so many years after their passing. It speaks to something much larger than celebrity. Michael Jackson wasn't simply known around the world. His music became part of people's memories, part of birthdays, weddings, school dances, concerts, holiday celebrations, and unforgettable moments shared between generations. That emotional connection continues bringing people to Forest Lawn, even knowing they will never step inside the Great Mausoleum. Perhaps that's because closure doesn't always require seeing something with your own eyes. Sometimes, simply being nearby is enough. Enough to remember, enough to reflect, enough to say goodbye in your own way, and in many respects. That quiet respect is exactly what Michael's family hoped his final resting place would encourage. Not spectacle, not tourism, but dignity. Even after more than 16 years, the crowds continue arriving, the flowers continue appearing, and the music continues playing. Because while the bronze doors remain closed, the connection millions of people feel with Michael Jackson has never been locked away. His resting place may remain hidden from the world, but his legacy has never been more visible. For most public figures, death brings an end to speculation. For Michael Jackson, it marked the beginning of an entirely new chapter. Within days of his passing, rumors began spreading across the internet. Some claimed he had staged his death. Others insisted he had secretly escaped the spotlight to begin a new life somewhere far from the public eye. Grainy videos appeared online. Blurry photographs circulated across social media. Every shadow, every unidentified figure, every old interview became evidence for another theory. One rumor after another gained millions of views. Among the most persistent was the claim that Michael Jackson's tomb was empty. Supporters argued that because so few people had seen his final resting place, the family must be hiding something. Others claimed he had been buried somewhere else entirely. Some even insisted the Great Mausoleum contained no remains at all, but none of these stories were supported by verified evidence. Official records, family statements, and the cemetery's own documentation all tell the same story. Michael Jackson was privately buried at Forest Lawn Memorial Park following his funeral in September 2009. Since then, his resting place has remained protected and undisturbed. Another theory suggested that the family had secretly moved his remains to an undisclosed location. Again, no credible evidence has ever supported that claim. The story spread because it fit the mystery people wanted to believe. In reality, there has never been an official announcement indicating Michael's remains were relocated. Then there were the videos claiming the tomb had finally been opened. Dramatic titles promised shocking discoveries. Some creators used edited images. Others relied on artificial intelligence, stock footage, or scenes completely unrelated to Forest Lawn. Viewed out of context, and the videos appeared convincing. But careful examination revealed the same pattern. No official source, no verified photographs, no documented evidence. Only speculation repeated often enough that many people accepted it as fact. So why do these theories continue? Part of the answer lies in Michael Jackson himself. He lived a life unlike anyone before him. His appearance changed dramatically over the years. His private life was constantly debated. His fame reached a level few entertainers have ever experienced. When someone so extraordinary dies, many people struggle to accept such an ordinary ending. Conspiracy theories offer an alternative. They keep the story alive. They create the illusion that one final secret remains waiting to be uncovered. But perhaps the greatest irony is this. Michael Jackson spent much of his life trying to protect his privacy. Yet even after his death, many refused to allow him that peace. The locked doors of the Great Mausoleum became the perfect canvas for endless imagination. Not because anything mysterious had happened inside, but because mystery itself had become part of Michael Jackson's legend. And while rumors continued capturing headlines, the real story of his legacy was unfolding somewhere else entirely, not inside a mausoleum, but through the music that never stopped reaching the world. While endless rumors continued to surround Michael Jackson's final resting place, his true legacy was never hidden behind the walls of a mausoleum. It remained exactly where it had always been, in the music. Every single day, somewhere in the world, a Michael Jackson song begins to play, whether it's on the radio, a streaming playlist, a concert stage, or a dance studio, his voice continues reaching millions of people across generations. Very few artists have maintained that kind of global presence so many years after their passing. Albums like Thriller, Bad, Dangerous, and History continue finding new audiences. Young listeners who were born long after Michael's death are still discovering his performances for the very first time. And many react with the same amazement that audiences experienced decades ago. His influence reaches far beyond record sales. Modern performers continue studying his choreography. His music videos remain part of filmmaking history. His live performances are analyzed by dancers, singers, and directors, searching to understand what made him different from everyone else. Even today, award shows, television specials, and major concerts regularly pay tribute to the King of Pop. His creativity helped redefine what popular entertainment could become. But perhaps his greatest achievement wasn't breaking records, it was breaking barriers. Michael Jackson united audiences across cultures, languages, and generations. His concerts filled stadiums on nearly every continent. His music crossed political borders. His performances reached people regardless of nationality or background. Few entertainers have ever achieved that level of universal recognition. His humanitarian work also remains an important part of his story. Throughout his career, Michael supported dozens of charities around the world. He participated in fundraising concerts, visited hospitals, helped organizations serving children, and used his global influence to encourage humanitarian causes. While much of the public focused on his extraordinary career, those acts of generosity quietly became part of the legacy he left behind. Today, his estate continues preserving that legacy. His music remains available to new audiences, documentaries, exhibitions, and stage productions continue introducing his work to younger generations. His influence has become larger than any single album, any single performance, or any single place, including Neverland, including Forest Lawn, because neither a ranch nor a mausoleum can fully define a life that transformed the history of entertainment. In the end, Michael Jackson's greatest monument was never built from marble. It wasn't protected by bronze doors, and it wasn't hidden from public view. It exists every time someone hears Billie Jean for the first time. Every time a child tries to master the moonwalk, and every time audiences around the world rise to their feet when his music begins to play, that is the legacy no locked tomb could ever contain. More than 16 years have passed since Michael Jackson's death, yet his name continues making headlines. New documentaries appear, books continue to be published, television networks revisit his life, and millions of people still search for answers to questions they believe remain unanswered. Why? What makes Michael Jackson different from so many other legendary entertainers? Part of the answer lies in the extraordinary life he lived. From the moment he stepped onto a stage as a child, his world was unlike anyone else's. Fame arrived before adulthood. Success came on a scale almost impossible to imagine. Every achievement seemed larger than the last. Every album broke records. Every concert attracted enormous crowds. Every public appearance became international news. But with that success came intense public attention. Very few people have lived under the same level of scrutiny. Every decision, every friendship, every appearance, and every personal struggle became the subject of worldwide discussion. As the years passed, the line between Michael Jackson, the performer, and Michael Jackson, the private individual, became increasingly difficult for the public to separate. That fascination did not end when his life ended. If anything, it became even stronger. People continued searching for hidden stories, untold secrets, lost recordings, private letters, unreleased photographs, and mysteries surrounding his final years. Some searches uncovered genuine history. Others created myths that spread far beyond the facts. His final resting place became one of those mysteries, not because anything unusual happened there, but because people struggled to accept that someone so extraordinary could have such an ordinary ending. Behind the locked doors of the great mausoleum, there is no secret waiting to rewrite history, no hidden discovery, no remarkable revelation, only the quiet resting place of a man whose public life was anything but quiet. Perhaps that contrast is exactly why so many people remain fascinated. Michael Jackson spent decades performing before millions, yet his final chapter was written in privacy. Away from cameras, away from stadiums, away from applause, for the first time in his life, the world's attention could no longer reach him. And still, his influence continues to grow. His songs are streamed billions of times. His performances inspire new generations of artists. His dance moves remain instantly recognizable across the globe. Few entertainers have left a cultural footprint so enduring. That may be the greatest mystery of all, not what lies behind the bronze doors of a private mausoleum, but how one artist continues inspiring the world long after the music stopped. Because while countless rumors have faded with time, Michael Jackson's impact has not. His story continues to be told, his music continues to be heard, and his legacy continues reaching people who were not even born when he took his final bow. Some mysteries are solved through investigation, others are solved through time. But the greatest answer surrounding Michael Jackson has been visible all along. His greatest legacy was never hidden inside a tomb. It has always lived in the hearts of the millions who continue listening to his music. For more than 16 years, millions of people have focused on one question. What lies behind the locked doors of Michael Jackson's final resting place? But perhaps that was never the question that truly mattered. Throughout his life, Michael Jackson was surrounded by mystery. His success seemed almost impossible. His performances redefined popular entertainment. His private life became the subject of endless headlines. Even after his passing, the fascination never disappeared. People searched for hidden secrets, unanswered questions, and dramatic revelations that could explain the man behind the legend. Yet sometimes the truth is far simpler than the stories we create. Behind those bronze doors, there is no hidden mystery waiting to change history, no secret discovery, no shocking revelation, only the peaceful resting place of an artist whose life was lived under an extraordinary spotlight, perhaps after decades of cameras following his every move. That privacy became the one thing Michael Jackson had searched for all along. While the world continues wondering about the tomb, his greatest achievements have never been locked away. They exist in every note of music he recorded, every stage performance that inspired generations, every dance move that changed popular culture forever. His influence cannot be measured by marble walls or bronze doors. It can be measured by the millions of people who still sing his songs, by young dancers learning the moonwalk for the very first time, by artists who continue studying his performances decades later, and by fans who still gather every year to honor the man they simply call the King of Pop. Michael Jackson's story was never perfect. It included remarkable triumphs, extraordinary challenges, personal struggles, historic achievements, and moments that continue to be discussed around the world. Like every life, his legacy is complex. It cannot be reduced to a single headline, a single rumor, or a single place. History remembers him for far more than the controversies that surrounded his final years. It remembers the child who amazed audiences with the Jackson 5, the young artist who transformed Thriller into the best-selling album of all time, the performer who raised the standard for live concerts, the songwriter whose music crossed borders, languages, and generations, and the humanitarian who used his platform to support countless charitable causes. Those accomplishments continue reaching new audiences every single day. Long after the applause faded, his music never stopped playing. Perhaps that is the greatest lesson Michael Jackson left behind. Fame may fade, buildings may change, even the world's most famous ranches and mausoleums may eventually become part of history. But true artistry endures, it survives generations, it inspires people who were never alive to witness it firsthand, and it continues speaking through the work itself. So, after all these years, the greatest mystery was never what rested behind the locked doors of the great mausoleum. The real mystery is how one human being created a legacy powerful enough to outlive time itself, a legacy that continues filling stadiums through tribute concerts, continues breaking streaming records, continues inspiring musicians, dancers, filmmakers, and dreamers around the world, because legends are not remembered for where they are buried. They are remembered for what they leave behind, and Michael Jackson left behind something that no locked tomb could ever contain. A lifetime of unforgettable music, a legacy that continues to unite generations, and a story that the world will continue telling for many years to come. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next story. Until next time, thank you for watching.